welcome to this class. In today's class, I want to teach you about the various data types in Solidity. And starting from the simplest, I'm going to teach you about integers, bytes, Boolean, strings, and addresses. So if you're ready, let's get started. So the first one you need to know is integers. When you hear integers, we're talking about numbers, not just numbers, but numbers without decimal places. And they range from the negative down to the positive. Okay, so for example, we have int, and let's call this public, and say, let's just call this number, and this number could be what? 0, or which is the default value, or 5. Okay, this is an integer, or this could be what? Minus integer. You see, when I compile that, it worked out great, but we also have unsigned integer. Let's say this is age. An age shouldn't have a negative number. So if I change this to what? Unsigned integer and compile, you see that it has an error. Why? Because I'm actually using what? Negative sign. So if I remove this and let's say this age is what? 15, you see everything works out great. Another thing you must know about integer is that they range from sizes. So we have size 8, we have size 32, that is 64 down to 256, which is the highest. So these are various sizes of integer that we use in Solidity. The next thing that I want to teach you is about bytes, which basically in the simplest form, it just gives you the equivalent of a value in hexadecimal. All right, this is like the basic use case of it, but it has deeper meaning, and I don't want to go too deep about that. How you create a byte, let me just show you, is what? Bytes, and then you say something like user. Okay, let's make sure that this is public, and user is equal to what? Let's say admin. All right, so with this, when I compile, you see that it's all good. And let's deploy this. From here, you can see the value of what? See that 15 is an integer, and the size is 255, 256, and then you can see the equivalent of that admin character as in the hex value of it. So the next thing that you must take note is Boolean. Boolean are just true or false value. They are super important when you're doing anything conditional, if statement, for loop statements, and everything. You often will use it to check, do some validation and all that. So how you declare a Boolean is by just saying bool, and then let's say minor. This should be public. Don't forget that access specifier. And let's say minor is true. Okay, so compiling this, and let's deploy that, and that deployed. If I check minor here, you see that this is a Boolean value. Okay, that is how you basically use a Boolean. A Boolean can also be what? False value. If I compile that, it works. But if I try to use any other thing, compile, you see that it has an error because those things are not the right value. It's only true or false. And then you have string, which let's say, for example, this is how you declare a string. A string is basically a series of character as one value. They range from alphabet to number to symbol. So I could combine all of those together, and it makes sense, for this kind of data type, because this is called a string. For example, string combines multiple characters in one value. So now, for example, let's say this is public, and let's call it username, and let's say my username is daltonic 001 pounds dollar symbol. And when I compile this, see it works out all good, and let's deploy that. When I deploy that, check username, see that is my representation. It works just fine. Okay, and then lastly, we have the address data type, which address data type, all it does is to hold the Ethereum wallet address for you. Okay, it's this is how you declare it. You say address, and then you say, let's say owner, make sure that it's public, because you want to see it there. If you don't put public, it disappears. So, and then let's copy this wallet address and paste it here. Boom. So you save that, it compiles successfully. It knows the number of characters of an Ethereum address. So if you try to change one, it gives an error, or if you want to add one, it gives an error as well. So it knows the number. Right now the number is not in my head, but I think it's about 30 something characters. So you don't put it in string like in quotes, you just put it like that. This is how an Ethereum address is represented. And let's deploy this, and you proceed all the various data type, the age, you can see the minor, which is a boolean, the owner, which is an address, the user, which is a byte, and then the username, which is a string. So men and brethren, this is just the basics of various data types in Solidity. There are also enum and struct, which I will show you how to use them and what they are in subsequent videos. Okay, till then, you have a great day.